Welcome back to the rig review, and today we're going to take a look at the Harlow rig, which you can find on the Built by Colossus website here. This is $15. Full disclosure, I received this for free for review purposes. So this is, in a sense, a sponsored post, but you can check it out. You get all the information about what the body has, the face, the poly count, and the price. Again, it's $15, and I will post the link to the review. And as always, everything will be on the Animation Buffet website, where I post all kinds of rigs and reviews. If you have anything you want me to review, send them my way. That is the link here. I will put that in the description, of course. Let's get back to the rig. Here's the rig in all of its glory, and if you download this and there are no textures, as always, you can have to reassign them or do a file path. You can do Windows general editors, and you have the file path editor, or do it manually, but you can't select the geometry. You have to go up here, and up here gives you control visibility. You can have that on, off, face, geometry, and this is the lock geos. Just put this to 0 and you can select the geometry. But that is the rig, and as always, I don't know why. Let's start at the bottom, mostly because here are the main controllers. Main controller here gives you just that. You can scale the character all the way down and back. You can also rotate the character, so if you need to do anything here, that is what you get. But don't forget, the pivot is from the bottom, so that's why I like actually these setups when you have a second controller here. Again, only translates and rotates, but what you can do with a second controller, you can bring it down and then select where your pivot is going to be. So she has wings. If you want her to fly, I will bring this down, select this, and now you have that here. You have what we call a flight controller, a flight con. Totally up to you, of course. Then you got these guys, which are the same thing as the outer ring, right? So this one and this one, same thing, there's no difference. Here you have your main control. You can move the foot around. You can see here, as you bring your foot back, foot stays put, you got to do this, and as you rotate the foot, the knee comes with it. You have the upper length, you got the lower length. Let's go back here, and then you got foot banking, which is always good. Foot roll, like that, and then you got a toe pivot like this, and a heel pivot. Now, if you want to go down to this here, you have this controller here that gives you rotation like that to the side, and you can also translate like this. That's for your extra controller, sub controller. You have this controller here, that's your IK/FK switch. So you take this, you switch this back to 0, and now you have all the controllers up here. And now you have controllers there, the round controllers, to move the leg back like a typical FK. These guys are your bambos and moving things around. So even in FK mode, you have that as an option, which is cool. Going back to it, you got your stretchy on or off, meaning that if you do a IK leg like this and you want to change the stretchiness, you go back here, stretchiness is 0. And then you also have to go back here, bend these on or off, and preserve volume. I missed it. Let's go back, preserve volume on and off here as well. That is that. You go a bit closer, you have controllers here. So this is for your mid and more mid bending here, and you can pull this out, but you can't scale. This is not to reshape your character or whatever limbs. You have, again, a pivot here if you want to do this via controller, and then you have this one here that kind of does everything as once, which is kind of cool with extra settings in the channels. That is, of course, on both sides. Why? Because we have 2 legs, and you have bambos, like I said, here all the way up to the hips. Now you got a lower controller here. This is the hip controller, so you can move this around. You can scale, but it does nothing. But you can translate. Whoa, wrong axis. There you go. You can translate this like that. And above the hip control, you have this one. This is the root FK control, as it says here. Move things around like that and like that. If you move this all the way down here and you click on the other root control, this is the root A control, it will pivot. Whoa, it will pivot off of here, which is also neat, just in case you have to have different pivot points. I'm always a fan of this. Then you got the extra controller here. This is the IK/FK switch, right? So this is the controller here, and now that you have that, you can see here full IK, but I can still move this around like this, and you can see the spine. You have these controllers here, and again, you can still rotate around, but it gives you a bit more flexibility for some quick posing like that, as opposed to going back here and making this all FK. There's a bit of a switcheroo. It's probably my fault. Let me double check. Yes. Let's zero that stuff out. There you go. So here are your spine controls. You can select these, and then you got your rotations like that, if I'm breaking the rig, in FK fashion. Now let's go up here. you have, selecting this controller here, that's your shoulder, a clavicle, right? Then you got, this is your arm. Let's go back out here. This will move your arm like that. You got your bembos like this. Sometimes a bit overlap. You can go in here. You can see this is your bembo, and then this is your FK controller. In all axes, nothing is locked. Now, if you want to switch this to IK, you can select this one, and you have your IK FK switch. You can see how this, everything is switching here, moving your arm around, and then this is your elbow control. It also has an elbow pin, which is great. I love it. You got your space switchers as well. And then going back here, you have your IK FK switch. You have a stretchy, the bendy on off, preserve volume, auto twist, and finger stuff too. You can do some quick changes into IK fingers. That's great. And space switching for chest and world. Going closer here, even though that's now in your current IK stage, you have that one to change your rotations. But in typical IK fashion, you move the arm, the wrist stays put like this. It's not aligned with the forearm. That's always a bummer. I wish all rigs had that. You can go up here and you got your movement here. So you rotate this, you do some quick formation of the fingers, which is pretty neat. And then you can go back in here and just select your fingers joint by joint all the way up here for some extra curvatures. You got to rotate and make a fist. You got some changes here. That's all super cool. Going closer here, what do we have? That is your neck. So your neck control is like this, but you can always translate this around and you can scale it that way. There's one in the middle, so you can reshape it like this, scale a little bit, but also rotate. And then the big one here, that's your head control. That's just for the upper part. You got, again, space switching, move this around, and you can't scale the head. Always kind of checking if you can scale those controls to reshape the face, the body, or whatever you have, but not in this case. Sticking with the head, why not? Let's go up here just quickly. This is your jaw inverse. So if you do this, you can do this, a little bit breaking of the geometry, but that's also me pushing that. Now, if you select this here, you can't translate. This is purely rotation for that. You can see, rotate it this way, up, this way. Let's see how that rotation goes, and it starts to break the mouth shape. But again, this is sort of an extreme rotation there. Going back, you can see these are your hair controls. I'm selecting all of them, but you can move these around. You can translate them around, and you can scale them around too. So you can potentially change the hair shape as well. Let's stick up here. Why not? We have 3 controls for the ear, and one here, one here, and one here. And can you scale? Yes, you can. Ginormous ears, confirmed. Then the eyes, you can move them around like this. There's some nice skin information there on the eye orbit here. That's pretty cool. You got your space switches, of course. Then you have separate eyes like that. Then you have this one here. That's the upper swoosh. So if you do this, it will do whing, whing, whing like that. And then you have one at the bottom when you eat, which is pretty cool. Let's quickly check something out. That is the jaw control. I'm opening this out here. Take that. It's the overall shape. That's pretty cool. I like it. Now, select this here. That's just to move things around. That doesn't do anything. You have selection, like I said here, for the jaw. If you don't want to move this around like that, you have it here. These are for your lips. You can move the general shape around. That's pretty cool. You also have, let me just open the jaw here. Actually, I should just do it on this since we have it here. You can translate, right? Versus this one has rotate. So let's be careful about that. But if I move this up and then select this, you have the zip roll like such. You have a zipper like this. And of course, it's on both sides. Then we get to the nose. You can move the tip around like so. There's a nose curl going this way. Nose curl. Okay. Doesn't seem to be doing anything for me. Let me get back to that. I might have missed something. Let's go here. That's just the inner part. So the selection here does everything like that. You can rotate this around, of course. But if I go back just again, I see nothing in the nose curl. So that's probably in a update. They can tweak that. Can you rotate the lips like this? Whoa, you can do something like that. Interesting. Only one axis. Yeah. What's that? Double eyes, right? So you're going to quickly move your eyes like that. That's pretty cool. I'm assuming if you do this separately, there you go. You just have that. Translate the whole thing around. You have quick blink options, and the blink bias is where this goes, so top or bottom. So if you don't want to go just centered in your blink, that's of course on both sides. On this side here, you have upper and lower lit. That's pretty cool too for details if you don't want to do it like that. And if you do select it, and just go back in there, why not? You can see here, these are all your detailed controls for the corners and reshaping, and also in the cheek here, it's the bigger controller, so you do your cheek puff like that. Separate controllers here, so lots of cool details here. And actually, let me just continue here. You got your eyebrows, so you got your full shape. Select it like that, and then you select the separate ones if you want to do anything like this. But you can still select this and move the whole thing around. So lots of options with that. That is for the face. Then you go back here. You have the overall controller for the mouth shape here. It's nice how it still affects the rest. If you actually go into wireframe on shaded, you can see how much it still influences, which is pretty cool. Can you scale? Yes, you can, just in case you want to change something. That's always cool. I like me fumbling around controls. I like being able to change the scale. You can also rotate if you want. There's an upper one here, so that's a teeth upper. So if I am opening the mouth, you will see what you have here. So you can move this around. You can also scale. Same thing with the bottom one. Select this. You can move this around. The pivot is up there though. So if you rotate anything, it's like that. That's pretty neat. You always need this. And then you got your tongue controls. You can rotate, translate. You can't scale. And go in here. There's an extra control. Sometimes at the base or the tip, there's some extra controls, but not right now. Let me see. No. And again, go into the wireframe mode. You can see all the extra controllers. And again, you have that to shape out anything. Oh, so painful to watch me to do this here. And then you got the inner ones, and these are the upper lip, right? So you can all the way back, all the way back, all the way back, all the way back. And let me close this. You have these guys here. That's the middle controller. This one, move this around. Can't rotate, translate, scale. This is purely to move this around. Take this one and do that, and then you get this. That is that. We talked about the eyes. Don't forget, you got wings. So you can select these among, they're more out there. But you can select them and you can move them around. Can you scale? You can. You can change the wings. But you also have this. So this is your flap. If I select this and go, you can see slowly what it does, which is pretty cool. Make this fast like this. You have also the wing visibility is here. And then going back here, the multiplier as well. Lots of options, super cute. It could be interesting to have a built-in controller for the pivot here, as in if you don't want to do this, now you have to do that to move this around so she can fly around the correct pivot. It would be kind of neat to have an actual extra controller like this one already up here. I don't know, figure that out there, since she is a flying creature in a way. Some more controllers or something to add for a flight path or anything. I think that could be kind of neat. Let me try something here. All right, just a quick pose. She seems a bit nervous about what she's doing. I don't know, I was just randomly pulling things. I wasn't super thinking about the pose here. But something I noticed here, as you move the clavicle shoulder area, it does move in IK mode your pull back to here for the elbow around. I'm not sure if I expected that or if that could be locked. I mean, you can go here and say elbow pin. I'm going to do world and take local off here, so it's down here, and then you move your shoulder around, and then you have that locked. So just be mindful of that. Something else that I feel like would be neat, I mean, you would have it in the picker, but it would be neat to have that in general. So you have all of these hair controllers, and it would be neat to just have an extra controller here at the end where you can select that and it selects them all. So anything where you have a long series of things, same thing with the wings, just at the tip, another control that selects them all, so you can do a quick rotation of everything. Basically kind of like an idea of this does everything here for your fingers just quickly, be kind of neat to do at least like a selection thing in case you don't have a picker. Sometimes you don't have time to do a picker, or you're busy doing something else, like whatever, like anything that helps do things or select things in a bit of a faster way, I think would be kind of neat. But it's very easy to control. It seems fairly fast for me to move things around. Again, once you're completely done with a pose, move this away from the origin and then rotate this around, and then look again at your rig. Sometimes you get some information problems or anything, but this seems to be pretty cool. Again, not that it's like the best pose out there, but I just want to quickly do something. This is so me, kind of like a caveat. Yeah, I can't pose. This is my excuse for it, but it's cute. She's really cute. I'm a big fan of this rig and the speed of it. I will at one point animate with it and see how this works in real time as you move things around. I think that's kind of that though. There's nothing else that really stood out in terms of a problem. I just felt like the quick selection would be kind of neat. Looking at the eyes, just double checking because I probably missed something. There's nothing here. Let me just double check the inside here. There you go. There's a scale option. I didn't cover that in the initial run through. And there was on the wrist, I also saw this that I skipped here. You have a wrist roll, which is also neat. If you put your fingers on the ground, so imagine you have your IK fingers and you want to kind of, roll off the fingers. That's pretty cool. And of course, I also didn't cover this. You have the upper and lower length, but most controllers or most rigs have that. Sorry if I skipped over this, but that's pretty much it. Really very cute. Lots of options for deformations. And I love this. This is already great to have stuff like that in here that takes away all kinds of tedious frame by frame and copy paste of curves to do that if you don't use any tools for this. And that's it. I like it. So go check it out. Link in the description, of course, with all the information. Thank you again to Built by Colossus for providing me with this rig. Hopefully this overview is helpful to anybody out there who is thinking about purchasing it. And that is that. As always, these reviews are on the longer side. Thank you for watching this in full. I appreciate your patience. Like and subscribe. You know the pitch. Thank you for subscribing. It helps to grow my channel. I do like this here. Roar, 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 roar. Probably not the best way to end by breaking a rig, but it's super cute. Definitely very, very fast, and it's all the deformations there. I do like all of this here. Look at that. Continue on. Once you start, it can just never stop. I like it. Take the nose, the overall rotation, give it a bend in the face. Actually, here's something else that would be kind of neat. Sometimes the characters have, you do have your bottom squishiness, right? So you can take this and move this around like that. And sometimes people prefer an extra controller here. So you have a controller here and here. So hold on, let me just do this here. So there's a separation here and here. So you grab this controller, you get the line of action in the face. You can move this thing around if you don't want it to be only, go back here, on something like this here. So maybe that's something I would add, extra controllers where this, whatever you can do here, potentially here as well, if it doesn't slow down the rig. For me, speed is always the key element here. So let's not compromise the speed. And if you animate this, watch out, your wings might intersect with the hair. That's gonna be interesting. So I'm curious what people will do with this rig. That is that. Instead of rambling, I will say thank you, and I'll see you in my next upload.